To me, Global Reach Out is inspiring.
It's connecting with God, reaching out to the world, and impacting life.
The stories that shared is so personal and it deeply impacted me.
Global Reach Out to me is reach out to the truth.
Connecting hearts, connecting lives. You're listening to Global Reach Out.
Episode 11. Let us continue with the summary of Christ-centric biblical and spiritual elements. 5. Entrepreneur must be watchful of all things under his or her care. Let's look at the parable of the faithful servant, Matthew 24. In the modern marketplace context, the entrepreneur manager, example managing director, has a duty and responsibility to be accountable to the stakeholders and all things under him or her. He or she constantly must stay alert in managing the delegated resources. Complacency has no place there. Develop the attitude of servant leader who looks after the welfare of those under him or her in a harmonious working environment in order to keep the organization ready to handle any eventuality. The diligent steward's role will be very rewarding and satisfying one. When problematic situation occurs that is both unexpected and unplanned for, severe punishment will be meted out to those who care for only their own interests. 6. Entrepreneurs should be influential in discipling and developing deserving employees. Let's look at the parable of the sower, Matthew 13. Just like the farmer, the earned authority of Christian entrepreneurs sows the word of God in whatever circumstances that present themselves. Be influential and provide encouragement to others in times of emotional and spiritual needs. Trust that the word will land on ready fertile ground for germination. The Christian entrepreneur must stay faithful and never give up despite being ridiculed at times. Be effective and discerning at the Kairos time. 7. Entrepreneur is to practice giving a second chance to low-performing subordinates with patience. Let's look at the parable of shrewd manager, Luke 16. The entrepreneur will encounter subordinates from time to time in any workplace whose performance is not acceptable. There may be many lessons behind this. Through some good counseling or training, the entrepreneur should provide a second chance for such subordinates to improve. The servant manager in this parable has proven he still can perform his role, though he shrewdly offers some concessions with the master's debtors. Besides trying to save his own job, he also did some minimum negotiation to retrieve some of the master's outstanding debts. Giving a pat on the shoulder of the subordinate manager will encourage him to improve his performance and stay loyal to the master. There's no perfection in the sinful nature of human mind and soul. Managing humanity is always a struggle. By wisdom, entrepreneurs are constantly on the lookout for good stewards. If someone is faithful in a small amount, he or she will be entrusted with more. And if he or she is dishonored in the small things, then he or she will be considered untrustworthy in the bigger things. Through this second chance opportunity, the subordinate manager must recognize the mercy of the employer who allows him to improve and stay faithful to do a better job. Patience pays off sometimes. 8. Entrepreneur must shower kindness and care. Let's look at the parable of unforgiving servant. Matthew 18. In the recent financial and pandemic crisis, he or she must reciprocate what was received from the government financial aid package. He or she can share some of this to those employees who have suffered more. Shower grace and mercy onto the deeply distressed to reflect the higher authority which has passed down this grace and mercy. 9. Entrepreneurs to show the appreciation that is due. Let's look at the master and the servant parable, Luke 17. He or she must not take advantage of employees' poor standing status. He or she needs to refrain from the I am the master mentality, such as finding fault with others while already having committed the same mistake. Good employees should be treated as the greatest asset to the entrepreneur. They are the company's hands to keep company's production running, to churn out services and products for the company's good profit. Some employees may go the extra miles beyond their duties in taking care of the company as though it were their own. They are loyal and running extra miles. It's their joy to serve, while getting job satisfaction. Rewarding the diligent employees in monetary terms could never be enough, other than sincerity of appreciation. Not all employees are looking for monetary rewards, as their main motivation is to perform well in the organization. They look for fairness and appreciation in a well done, my good faithful servant compliment. The rest of rewards will come secondary importance. 10. Entrepreneurs must be acumen and discerning when engaging in any enterprise venture. Let's look at the parable of counting the cost, Luke 14. Managing financial resources in an entrepreneurship is of utmost importance. In all fairness, money is needed and must be managed well in any business. Assessment of a business venture must be looked at in all angles to avoid any possibilities of things go wrong. It will be foolish to jump into a business venture before any diligent assessment is done. With the complexity in market competition, environmental changes and uncertainties of world events, conducting a business without a diligent assessment could amount to committing business suicide by wasting the company's hard-earned money. 11. Entrepreneur must not turn greedy in prosperous time. Let's look at the parable of the rich fool, Luke 12. When a business is growing and profitable, he or she must not become greedy and searching for self-gratification. Instead, they must be grateful and remember those productive employees who work diligently to increase the profitability of the company. By sharing some wealth gains with those deserving employees, as a proverb from Mark 8 says, "What good is it for a man to gain the whole world, yet forfeit his soul?" Practicing the law of cleaning is one way to show generosity to the employees. Managing assets well gained wisely and prudently will give the company a longer run of sustainability. And finally, 12. Entrepreneur must have faith if it is truly entrepreneurial calling. Let's look at the parable of mustard seed, Matthew 13. Faith inspires and motivates one to act. Faith is contagious and not a gamble. It is the first step in a long journey before any imminent achievement results. However, growing in faith allows him or her to serve God in many ways in the marketplace. There is much to be done between an epiphany and triumphant. William Carey had great faith in God when he sensed the calling of God to serve in India as his first missionary and said, "Expect great things from God. Attempt great things for God." He was just a cobbler in England when he landed in Calcutta as a stranger. He had no friends, no relatives there, but he trusted God to provide in his missional calling. From the dozen of parables spoken above by Jesus, the true entrepreneurial master is represented by various titles, such as the landowner, the rich man, the king, the nobleman, the farmer, who has direct lordship over all things. The overall emphasis of these biblical management traits is on recognizing God as the overall entrepreneurial master who lords over all things, including his servant entrepreneurs and managers. This profound spirituality of Christ-centric position breaks the egoistic entrepreneur's or manager's status of position-conscious mentality of I am the boss in charge here. Every earthly entrepreneur or manager will be accountable to the entrepreneurial master of all. For discussion purpose, let's look at 1. What is your take on the overall parables spoken by Jesus? 2. What are some impressions that bring good value to your present enterprise organization? Thank you. Tune in.
The program is proudly presented by Global Reach Out. We welcome you to share our live enriching webcasts with family and friends through our website, global-reachout.org. Let's reach out to bless more lives together.